Asante Sana, Warden, that means thank you. Something else we like to say here in Harambe is Twende, which means let's go. Jumbo friends, my name is Madison. I'm going to be your safari guide out there today on the reserve. Please be sure to remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times. I also highly recommend hanging on to those valuables, because if they're dropped outside of the truck, we cannot stop to get them. Now this is a real truck, I am a real driver, so it can get really bumpy out here. Now we don't have a full truck either, so it's probably going to be a little bit more bumpy than normal. Now there is a saddle build store right here on the left side. Now we are starting off in the Little Aturi Forest. The forest is home to some shy and reclusive animals. They're going to rely on their camouflage to evade their predators. And it looks like there's an okapi over to the right side as well. Now that saddle-billed stork that was back there, oh, there's another one right there on the right. Now they get their name due to that yellow saddle shape on their bills. Males are going to have brown eyes, females are going to have yellow eyes. That's one way that we can tell them apart. Their wingspan is going to be about the same length as the width of the canopy above you right now. So that is about 9 feet. Now that okapi that was back there, a lot of people think they're related to the zebra because they have those stripes on their legs. But they're not. They're actually closest related to the giraffe. We know this by the shape of their heads. Now they also have really long tongues. They can actually clean their ears, eyes, and nose with those tongues. Now over here on the right side, looks like there's some greater kudu. There's also some bongo up ahead as well. So the greater kudu are those tan antelope, and the bongo are going to be these orangey copper colored antelope. Now bongo are also known as the ghosts of the forest due to their great camouflage abilities. And their horns are leaning backwards, so that helps them to move silently through the bushes and the brush. Now these greater kudu get their name due to their size. They're going to stand up to 5 feet tall at the shoulder. Male greater kudu are going to have horns, like the one that's on the spotting guide above you. And females are not going to have horns, so that did look like some females hanging out back there. We're going to be heading over into the Sahi River. The Sahi River is home to some semi-aquatic animals, so they like to hang out in and around the water. And it looks like coming up here on the right side, there are some pink-backed pelicans. And it looks like there's a couple hippos in the water down there as well. Now pink-backed pelicans are going to get their name due to the color that comes up on their backs during mating season. So the feathers and the skin on their backs are going to turn a light pink color, kind of like they're blushing. Now they're also going to be one of the only known pelican species to nest up in trees. Now it looks like there's some more hippos over here on the left side. Now a group of hippos is called a bloat. And hippos can actually stay underwater for several minutes without coming up for air. Hippopotamus actually translates to river horse. So when you see them moving under the water, they're usually not swimming, but they're going to walk along the bottom. Now hippos can actually weigh about the same as a small car. Up ahead here looks like the perfect spot for some Nile crocodiles to hang out. Actually, I can see one down there on the left side.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now it's going to be right next to that log over there. You can see its head poking up out of the water. So Nile crocodiles are going to be one of the largest crocodile species in Africa. They can actually get up to 16 feet long. And they look pretty scary, but they're actually very nurturing and maternal. So whenever their eggs are getting ready to hatch, they're going to gently put them in their mouths and roll them around to make sure they hatch healthily and on time. Now once we get around this corner here, we are going to be heading over into the savannah. So unlike the animals back there in the forest, the animals over here in the savannah are going to rely on their speed, agility, and safety in numbers to evade their predators. Now it's a wide open area over here, and there's not much to hide behind, so camouflage healthy animals much in the savannah. Now we're just gonna round a couple corners here and then see what we can spot once we get down this hill. Now it looks like there are some zebras coming up here on the right side. Now these are Hartman's mountain zebras, so we can tell by looking at their stripes. We can see that their stripes stop before going down around their stomachs. And a group of zebras is called a dazzle. And zebras are going to have unique stripe patterns just like our fingerprints. When a baby zebra is born, they're going to memorize the pattern of their mother so they know who to return to. That's called imprinting. Now the reason why they call a group of zebras a dazzle is because when they're in large groups, predators can't tell where one zebra starts and another one ends. So it kind of dazzles and confuses their predators. Now it looks like we are stopped here.
Always wanted chaps. He's sitting right here just getting the heck out. Party and straight chairs.
Now I'm actually kind of glad that we got stopped here, because at least we had something to look at. Now up ahead here there are some Ankole cattle. Now these Ankole cattle are going to be one of the only domesticated animals out here on the reserve. Now they're also called Watusi cattle, named after the tribe that first domesticated them. And you may notice their large horns. So this can actually span up to 8 feet from tip to tip. Now a few of the cattle over here have smaller horns. They are younger, so their horns are not fully grown yet. Now you would think their horns would be pretty heavy, but they're actually light. They have a honeycomb-like structure on the inside of them. There's a bunch of blood vessels in there, and they're going to help to regulate their body temperature. So whenever it's hot outside, those horns are going to help to keep them cool. Now these mounds on the side of the road here, these are termite mounds. Termite mounds are going to be made from termite saliva, dung, and dirt. Now they're going to sit out here in the sun and dry up. They get as hard as concrete. And sometimes animals like to come up to them and just scratch their horns or their backs on them. Now these termite mounds are going to be so strong that an elephant can actually lean on them and they won't break. Now it looks like there's some wildebeest coming up here. They're going to be on the right side. Now they're going to have scent glands in their hooves. And that actually is going to help them to know where they've been and where they're wanting to go. About 1.5 million wildebeest are going to migrate up to 1,000 miles every year. This may be a shocker, but wildebeest actually means wild beast.
Sad. Oh, they know food's coming. Something to eat.
Now it looks like there's not much else out on the savannah tonight, so we are going to keep on going. what we can spot once we get up here past these rocks. Looks like there's not much hanging out over here either, so we are just gonna keep on moving forward. Hopefully we're gonna be able to spot some more animals up ahead. We are just going to hang out here for a second, wait for the truck in front of us to get across this bridge and around a corner. So we're just going to cross this bridge and around a corner and see what other animals we can spot up ahead. We are coming up on some red clay. So elephants actually like to eat red clay because there's a bunch of minerals and nutrients in there that are going to help to keep them healthy. And it looks like there's some test markings over here on the right side, so that could be evidence that we may spot some elephants up ahead here. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully we get to see some. Elephants are going to travel in a matriarchy, so they're going to have a dominant female, and she's going to be the leader of the herd. And then once the males reach a certain age, they're actually going to be kicked out of the herd and left to live on their own. Now these elephants are actually experiencing a lot of habitat loss, and one way we can help is by recycling our electronics. So the batteries used to make those electronics are made from coltan. Coltan is actually mined for over in Africa, and it does take away a lot of the habitats from those elephants, which lead to the elephants moving into places like farmlands, and then ends up leading to the poaching of those elephants. So one way we can help solve that is by recycling those electronics. Now these large trees over here on the right side, these are baobab trees. Baobab trees are going to remain leafless for about 9 months out of the year. And then during the dry seasons, they're going to store a bunch of water in their trunks, and animals can come up to them and get the bark off the tree while also getting water at the same time. That's why they're also known as the tree of life. Now sometimes they're also called upside down trees because their branches kind of look like roots, and it looks like they've been planted upside down. Now coming up here on the left side, there are some flamingos. So these are greater flamingos. That's not because they're better than all the other flamingos, but because they're larger. Now they're going to hatch gray, white, and fluffy. They don't get their full color until about 2 years after they hatch. That color is going to come from the brine shrimp that they eat. So brine shrimp has a protein in it called beta-carotene, and that's where they get that pink color from. There are a couple ducks in the road. Oh, there we go. Now flamingos are also social, so you're normally going to see them hanging out in a group just like this one. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. Now greater flamingos are going to be the palest pink flamingos.
Exactly.
Now let's see if we can spot anything else hanging out over here on this side of the savannah. Now, I'm not spotting anything yet, but maybe once we get around this corner, there'll be something hiding out over here. Oh, it looks like there's a cheetah up ahead here walking around. It's going to be on the left side. Now, cheetahs are going to purr and chirp just like house cats. They have non-retractable claws, so that means that their claws are always going to be out. They can't put them away. But they are going to help with traction while they're running. So cheetahs can accelerate up to 60 miles an hour in just a few seconds. So it's going to be in the back there. And you may notice that black fur kind of underneath their eyes. So they are going to hunt during the day. And that black fur is going to help shade the sun from their eyes, kind of like the eye black that baseball players wear.
So pretty.
And it looks like there's some Kopi rock formations coming up ahead here. Now predators like to hang out on top of Kopi rocks to scope out the area. So let's see if there's anything hanging out over here right now. It looks like there's a lion actually. Now that is a female. Oh, and there's a male as well. So the males are going to have a mane. The females are not going to have a mane. So the females are going to do the majority of the hunting for the pride. But that doesn't mean those males aren't doing anything. They're going to be staying with dads. So whenever they have some cubs around, the males are going to stay back with the cubs while the females go out hunting. Now you can kind of tell that is a younger male. He does have a shorter mane. Now lions are going to sleep or rest up to 20 hours a day. They are living the life over here. And a lion's roar can actually be heard up to 5 miles away. And once we get around this corner here, it does look like there's some warthog burrows. Now, if you've ever seen The Lion King, Pumbaa is a warthog. Pumbaa actually means foolish in Swahili, but warthogs aren't foolish at all. They're very intelligent. They're going to back into their burrows, making sure to keep their tusks facing out to defend them from predators. And if they see any pre-existing burrows that aren't in use by other animals, they're going to take those and use them as their own, so they don't have to do as much work digging out the holes. And there are a couple of water buck coming up here on the right side. Now, water buck are going to get their name due to the excessive amount of water that they drink. They're also sedentary, so normally they're going to be staying still near some kind of body of water. And I didn't see any ostriches hanging out over here right now, but there are some eggs coming up on the right side on the ground. Now, ostriches are going to be one of the largest bird species in the world. So those eggs are going to weigh about 3 pounds each. And ostrich eggs are going to be so strong that we can actually stand on them and they won't even crack. are now coming up to the end of our safari. We are heading over into Magadi Glen. Now, if any of y'all would like to help the animals out at home, you can actually create some natural habitats just in your backyard. Maybe you want to put up a bird feeder, or you could plant some native trees or flowers for the birds and butterflies to enjoy. And for my guests with children, maybe you want to encourage them to explore the tiny world of insects that's just in your backyard. And if any of y'all would like to become a conservation hero, you can head over to any of the stores here in Disney's Animal Kingdom. You can either round up on your purchase, or you can just donate to Disney's Conservation Fund. And then you'll also get to pick out a cute button that you like. It's going to say Conservation Hero on it, and you can choose the animal that you want. So I'm pretty sure they have tigers, they have elephants, giraffes, and I think they have sea turtles as well. Now, if y'all are wanting to check out more animals tonight, you are going to have to head up to the front of the park and check out the Oasis. The trails are going to be closed. They did close at 5:15. The safari is also now closed. But there's a bunch of cool animals that hang out up at the Oasis. Or you can head up to the Tree of Life. They actually have some kangaroos that hang out up there.
You ever